Well, I was about to say I usually never do this, but the truth is I have never done this. I've never shot a video based on my own premonitions. I'm going to explain premonitions versus predictions. While I did predict things, and actually some of my students were talking about this the other day, I did predict actual coming events and told people to get ready. They're on film, and that was before COVID. Also, I have shot videos that told you when you should get ready for something, even if I didn't know the something. So that's the difference between premonitions, predictions. I want to explain the transition because it's something that you're participating in, and it's something that you get to make a choice in. Everyone does. So if you're ready for this video, I think it could be extremely helpful for you to make that decision about which pathway you're going to choose as we move forward into, yes, a new earth. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. I have a new series that is helping you to communicate with that unseen, powerful quantum field that is all, that creates all, but that is also you. I have so much to tell you today, and I've been encouraged by my students to share this information, and I think I need to. Like my book, if you've read my book, I tell you exactly what's going on in there from a spiritual level and how powerful you are and how amazing this time period is, but that you are so special because you chose to be here. You didn't just plop here and, gosh, you're in this crazy place and get me off here. You have an opportunity right now that is absolutely huge and glorious. We have to shift that thinking. So those of you who are in this free series, I actually take you every few days through taking your thoughts, transitioning them, helping you to communicate with that field where you are the creator. And then I include a meditation, my own meditations that I created in every one of those emails. So if you feel like you are not at that space where if the mothership landed and said, okay, we're taking everybody who qualifies for the new earth, get on board, do you think you would pass? Would you even see the mothership coming? Now, no, that's not how it's going to happen, although I'm not going to eliminate anything, but I will tell you what is actually happening in my premonitions that are telling me how you can participate no matter what that final outcome is. I hope you'll subscribe. And also, those of you who are entrepreneurs, we're creating planet conscious businesses at digitalexplorers.net. Come on over. I have free webinars there also. I want to give you the tools to qualify for this place, this space, this dimension that exists that everyone can access. It is my Father who has many mansions. It is a mansion and a penthouse. It exists for you. And all you have to do is get to that frequency. There is no judgment. There is no separation. There is a celebration of our differences. Have you ever noticed that we come here so uniquely different, and it's the very thing that keeps us in conflict, is our differences. And we don't want people to look a certain way, dress a certain way. We want to squash their cultures. I just saw something on PBS about the Scottish Wars and how the British came in and destroyed everything that was Scottish, including wearing kilts and all the things that made them beautiful. They wanted to destroy that. That is the essence of low frequency separation that will implode on itself. It is the world we've been living in that has been destroying everything that is beautiful and is the creation of all things. Let us talk about my dreams, which are actual premonitions of a state that is here, created, is coming, and that you can participate in. Each one of my dreams demonstrates a crisis and an opportunity to rise above, step out of what exists, and become triumphant. These are not easy dreams because in every one of my dreams, I'm having to take action that's very uncomfortable. And in each one of these situations, there is some kind of destruction or negative situation where I'm having to step up. I'll give you an example, and I'm going to tell you what you can do and must start doing immediately to participate in the most beautiful movement ever existing on this planet. One of my dreams, I saw a big, like sort of a big truck with a big open flatbed. It had a little baby bear in the back who had a collar on, obviously was being controlled by somebody. Well, there was water in the back. There was a lot of water coming in, and the flatbed was filling up. There were sides to it. And when the truck moved forward and back, I saw this big wave of water coming in. It kept getting higher and higher, and I realized that when that wave came back toward the back of the truck, that little bear was going to go underwater. So when the truck stopped and that wave came back, I jumped in and I pulled the little bear out and I held him. The person driving that truck realized what had happened, jumped out and said that I should give the bear back immediately. And I said no. And he said, I'm going to get that bear. And I knew the bear was not being used in a very positive way and that it was an abusive situation he was going to go to, put it on display or whatever. And I said no. And so I held this little bear, and then I put my hand on that collar, that restrictive collar that he had on that bear to control him. He went to grab the bear, and I hung on to the very collar that had been used on that bear to restrict him, to control him, and I would not let this man take the bear. I refused to hand the bear over to this situation that was abusive. Somebody was with me, and I said, call the Humane Society, call the animal control, and get somebody out here to help us. And they were calling to get the assistance that was going to help us protect the little bear. No matter what, I was not going to let that little bear go, and so I saved the little bear. I'll give you another example. This is probably the most profound one. There was a family in control of the kingdom. I'm saying kingdom because there was a crown involved. It doesn't necessarily refer to England or any country that does have a king or queen. It represented what was going on in the actual land itself. These people were done. They were finished. And I looked over the kingdom and it was decimated. Imagine looking at Los Angeles now. But I had this crown that was being handed to me, and this kingdom that was controlled by this family was being handed over without any conflict. It was over for them. They handed the crown to me, and by the way, this crown was not this perfect, beautiful, jeweled thing. It was sort of tarnished and sort of half destroyed, and I placed it on my head, and I gladly helped them to get out, to move out. I was helping get their stuff together, making it as gentle as possible for them to move on. And I realized I was taking over the kingdom. But I also realized I was taking over something that had been so violated and destroyed that this was not going to be an easy job. I had another dream, by the way, there are many, that I took over this huge mansion was given to me, and that those who resided in it were done. They were no longer welcome. They were no longer supported. And so they were all gladly, there's a theme here, gladly moving out. Maybe some resistance with the man with the bear, but never actually attacked me or came after me. There was no conflict involved. They realized they were outnumbered. So these people in this incredible mansion, this royal thing, were all leaving. I was moving in and taking over the entire mansion with other people, by the way. And it was decrepit. But imagine a beautiful royal palace that had been there for eons and wasn't being taken care of. There were several Christmas trees there. And I actually said, well, it's Christmas in a few months. Let's light them all up. Let's put it all on. Let's light this place up and restore it. And that was what started to happen, is restoring the kingdom once again, restoring the palace, restoring the decimated lands, and having it all handed over, because those who had been in power realized that they held no power against those coming in. Another dream that I had, boy, I keep having them just over and over, that I was in this beautiful space with a lot of people who, there was this huge pool and a big party going on, and all of a sudden this pool started to fill up with water. This is a theme, water is, and it kept getting really, really, really filled up, and then it started to slosh back and forth, and I realized this thing's going to get out of control. And so it went off, and it was going to come back in, almost like a tsunami kind of effect, not quite as big. And I said to everybody in the pool, it's okay, I can handle this, I'm a strong swimmer. And I remember not being afraid. And what I want to explain to you in each of these dreams, and this is part of what I have stood for since I've started my channel, is breaking through fear. When you're not in fear, you are at your most powerful point. Now you can use the powers that I teach you to use in the quantum field. You can use them for anything, good or, not so good. I don't like to use good, bad, evil, but let's say low frequency. You can use it for self-service. So that power that exists is for everyone, and how you use it is an individual choice. I want you to know that power out there isn't just for the awakened ones. It is who and what everyone is. So everyone has the opportunity to participate in these scenarios, and those who are going into the highest frequency will step into the kingdom and take over regardless of what has been left for them. They will earn it. And those who have been in corruption, and we've seen it, people are pardoning each other, and it's sort of like, wait a second, somebody is in jail for having a meal, stealing a meal, and this person who's done some amazing stuff is getting pardoned. Well, that's all coming to the surface. Water, it's coming to the surface, and the strongest swimmers will survive. Who are those? Those of the highest frequency will be rewarded the kingdom, not because, they're better, but because they are taking over on the highest frequency, that which is beautiful and can be restored by them. Everyone else who's done so much damage and continues to serve self and separate and judge and argue and says, Trump's going to be our savior, Trump is going to destroy us, and all of this stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's about you. This is your journey, not whether somebody's going to save us. That is a blip on the radar screen of the roles that each of us are playing. So you're going to see a cleansing that happens, and the strongest swimmers will survive, and they will not be afraid. But they know that these things are coming. They're going to happen because the challenges are going to place us in the floors on the mansion according to what we're choosing. And so basically the new earth is completely your choice, and you get to go into that space no matter what the kingdom looks like. You can inherit the crown, and that means you have to remain steadfast. There was no conflict in those who were going out. They just knew that they had done so much damage and it was over for them. This is what is happening. Anyone who continues to do anything destructive, underhanded, ego-based, greed-based, material-based, serving the ego and self, it will implode on them. And this is not a warning of fear. This is a warning of choice. And everyone is welcome to go into the penthouse, no matter what you've done. In fact, those who have maybe not lived the, let's just say, most loving, compassionate life, have the ability to go equally up to the penthouse and demonstrate that no matter what you've done, you can change today. These premonitions haven't stopped, and it's my message now to tell you, you must share this message. And I was actually saying before I go to bed, can I have a really nice dream? Because even though I'm not afraid in these dreams, and they're actually quite exciting, I realize how much responsibility this is, and that there is triumph in them. It felt good to hang on to that little baby bear and knew that no one was going to take it from me. And I wasn't afraid of this gentleman, and he knew he ultimately couldn't do it. This is what's going to happen for every one of you, and the meek shall inherit the earth, not because they're going into battle and conflict against anything. They understand that there is no separate anything, and that we don't have to fight for anything. We have to be that. We have to be that which we want to create right now. And it starts with everything you do. You purchase, you choose, how you treat people, how you speak to someone. I just met a dear friend who owns a condo here down the road, and we met and we talked about this, and I said, is there ever a situation that warrants disrespect or anger? Does it even make sense? Does it make any sense? Because no matter what situation you're in, you never have to resort to that. There's always a higher choice. There's always a higher way to resolve a situation. And it's not anger or frustration or telling somebody off or creating conflict because you didn't like something there coming from ego. Step aside. So my friend stood up for herself with a contractor who was redoing her place, who had talked terribly to her. And we both said during our conversation, something's going on in his life, and he laid into you. It had nothing to do with you. We knew that. It's never about you, whatever is being projected on you. It's about the person, their ego, and their happiness or unhappiness according to what they want. And if the world or you isn't behaving the way they want, they strike out. It's never about you. You're just a player in all of this, all right? So she stood up for herself, and this is exactly what's going to happen. She didn't sit back because her dad didn't call and say, hey, don't talk to my daughter like that. She said, nobody came to my defense. So she wrote this beautiful communication with them. I think it was a text or email. Basically said, there's no reason to do this, and I know that you are working for me, but you are working for me, and you will never talk to me again like that. There was no reason for it, and that I understand you're doing amazing things for me, but I am also your client, and here's how things are going to operate if we're going to work together, and I respect you. And she spoke in a way that was powerful. And this is going to be the key. So again, you don't stand back and watch the baby bear drown. You grab the baby bear and you hang on tight. It's going to require your action of a highest level without conflict. It's going to require those that are meek to step up and say, this isn't going to happen anymore. You place the crown on and you gladly help the others pack who have destroyed everything, and you help them out, and you have compassion for them, and you say, I'm going to make this transition easy for you, but you are going out, not because I pushed you out, but because it's going to naturally happen. The kingdom is being handed to you, but only if we go in a way where we accept it, and we're strong, and we're not going in fear. A fear will, how do I know I have fear, right? How do I know, Landria? Because if you have any negative feelings and any feelings of disempowerment, you're in fear that is not connected to the creator that you are. Ye are all gods, these things you shall do and more. The second coming of Christ is already in motion. It is a movement of spirituality and love that is going to take the planet to a higher frequency, and there is enough of us doing it right now, and it is happening. I want to give you the hope to know, because you still have to participate in it, to know that no one gets left behind, and that if you choose to step into that power and be the strong swimmer without fear, that you will survive, and it will not be a problem, that the baby bear will be saved, that the kingdom will be restored, no matter how badly damaged it is, that the palace, as decrepit and how badly it's been treated, will be shining again and bright and celebrated. And that, my friend, are the premonitions I continue to have that are telling you that we are going to step into our power as beautiful, loving entities. If you know who Ingo Swann is, he is one of the most profound remote viewers ever. He's one of the remote viewers that work for the government who actually projected himself onto the moon and saw people on the dark side of the moon. That's another story that I will tell you here soon. And he said in a video on television, I am not this body. I am consciousness. And consciousness has connections and is everything. So I have access to everything. The body does not. You have access to everything. When you understand you're the consciousness, that you affect everything, you can go to the moon. And so I'm not talking about remote viewing or astral projection. I'm talking about you are connected to it right now, so you affect it. When you come out of fear, you are the strong swimmer. You are taking over the palace. You are putting the crown on, and we're going to polish it up and put the rubies and jewels back in there and restore the kingdom, and everyone will be welcome there. But they will no longer be allowed to behave in the manner that they are, and they will be done. It will be done. It destroys itself. And at some point when you've destroyed everything, what do you do with that? There's nowhere to go, but we can restore it. Are you ready to do that? I will share more of my premonitions with you, but it's going to be pretty much the same message. That no matter what, there is nothing for you to fear. Nothing. You are energy that cannot be created nor destroyed, because you always have been, always will. You just transition to something else. This is an adventure. This is an experience. Everything you see and do not see is part of the creation that continually just expands into things that we can't understand. You don't have to understand it. We're going to see the things of the unseen world that is way more powerful than the material world, is going to make itself known in various forms, and it is not to be feared, because there is nothing above or below you. Nothing holds power over you, because Source is all things and equal. It's just a frequency. So when you say the Father or something above me, or angels, they're just of a higher frequency, of which you get the choice to go into also, even in your human body. Just never forget that you're still playing a human role. You have to play it out. You don't escape that. So accept that. Accept that you have to take over the crumbling palace. In the higher realms, there is no palace. There's nothing. There's just everything you can imagine with a thought is created. There's no scenarios or tests like there are here. So only the meek shall inherit the earth, because they come in with peace. They welcome the jewels. They welcome the palace. They welcome the crown, because they're going to step into it in the most powerful, loving way that excludes no one, separates no one, because we know, you know, that is of the Creator. So if you are condemning anything else, you're condemning that which the Creator created. And if you don't believe that you are part of that creation, that's okay. You may not be ready for it. But I suggest you start to get ready for it. You don't have to understand. I call it the knowing. You'll stop asking questions. If you want to understand better how it spiritually works, I got a download here, and I was told a year ago, it has to come out now. This book has to come out now. So you can read it and go into space of saying, I don't have to understand this craziness, but I agree to participate in it. I can go to the penthouse. Let's go restore the palace. Let's put the crown on. Everyone gets to do that. All right, so I hope that you come over. If you are an entrepreneur, we're creating the coolest businesses, planet conscious businesses. If you don't know what that business looks like, come over, because the first step is for me to help find you what it is you love. My students saying, I don't know what it is. I said, well, let's find it. Isn't that sad? We have not been brought up to do the things that we're passionate about. That's changing. So that's Digital Explorers. Down here is landriaonka.com. Free inspiration. Every few days, I show you how to tap in the power of the all-intelligent field, communicate with it, and know that you and it are one. And we stop saying law of attraction, praying to this. We know the prayer is, it is done. You are in control of that, with that power. You and it are one. Don't try and figure it out, but just know one thing: you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.